JC Motors with the 430 Shock from Progressive Suspension. At JC Motors, you can ride with confidence, knowing that we offer no-hassle returns, life returns, and even a damage replacement offer. Go to jcmotors.com and find out why over 280,000 motorcycle enthusiasts like yourself get their parts and gear from us. Today we've got Frank with us from Progressive Suspension to tell us about the 430 Shock. Frank.
Great, thanks a lot. This is, like you said, the Progressive 430 Shock. It's available in both chrome as well as black. This one here is the black one. And you'll notice one of the popular trends now is a contrast cut. So what we've done is we've highlighted some of the body with a contrasting brushed aluminum finish. These 430s are available for most of your American V-twin as well as your metric cruisers in a variety of lengths, anywhere from stock to a little bit over stock and the very popular lowered version. What you can do is you can go to JC Motors website as well as Progressive's website, and you can take a look to see what fits your bike as well as what the stock size is. Now, one of the important things, because everybody seems to like lowering their bikes at this point, is to make sure you pick the right shock for your bike. Not only will we talk about the weight carrying capacity of it, but the height is so important. A lot of guys really want to lower it. Keep in mind, when you lower your bike, if you've got floorboards or forward controls, when you lower that bike and you go into a turn, everything's going to be closer to the ground. So keep that in mind when you buy a shock for that bike. And one of the other suggestions Progressive Suspension has is if you lower the back end of the bike, you're going to want to do the same to the front end. And JC Motors carries a full line of our drop-in lowering front fork springs as well. The 430 comes, like many of our shocks do, with a progressive rate spring. And what that does for you is as that spring compresses through the stroke, it progressively gets stiffer. So what that does is it allows you to hit a bump. You're going to run into that one big pothole that you just didn't happen to see, and you're going to bottom out. There's not a single shock in the world that won't bottom out at some certain time. But the nice thing about a progressive spring is as it goes through that stroke, it progressively gets stiffer, so the jar at the end of that bottoming point is not as harsh to you. It's going to save your back. You'll feel much better. And if you have a passenger on the back, they're going to love you for it. Speaking of passengers, let's talk about weight ratings on shocks. We offer a standard duty and a heavy duty. The standard duty is for a guy a little skinnier than me, say around 240 pounds or less, that rides two up once in a while, less than 50% of the time. It's a great way to go with the standard one. Now, if you want to go heavy duty, you got to be a bigger guy like me, 250 pounds or more, and or a little lighter, and you ride two up more than 50% of the time. There's going to be a lot of adjustment on this shock so that you can go either way, but that's going to set you up in the best spot for you. Now, adjustment on the 430 is really easy. You don't have to have a wrench in your tool bag or anything like that. You literally just walk up to the shock, grab the top cover, and you can turn it clockwise to stiffen it or counterclockwise to loosen it. So when you do get that passenger you picked up along the beach, throw them on there, a couple of twists on the shock, and you're going to get that same comfortable ride. Now, how do you set the preload on your bike? What you want to do is, with the bike standing up and nobody on it, measure from one shock bolt to the other. Now get on the bike and take that same measurement. You want the distance to be anywhere between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch. It's going to get you really close to the perfect spot, and then just ride it and adjust it by hand. The 430 also comes with a lifetime warranty to the original owner, so keep that receipt from JC Motors. If you have any problems with it, just have to include a copy of that proof of purchase. The Progressive 430 has deflective disc valving, and what that's going to do is it's going to give you the best possible ride on that bike. It's a really high-end shock, and it's going to give you years of wonderful, dependable service, giving you a great ride. Retail on these starts at $499, depending on the finish, and goes up to about $549. It's a great choice for your bike.
You can go to jcmotors.com, check out our prices. They're a little better than retail. We welcome all your questions. 800-706-9476. Get live support at jcmotors.com and find out why. JC Motors is where riders get deals.